welcome to a brand new episode of Weekend Out. My name is Gaurav. Naam to suna hoga. Now looking at the scenery behind me, you already know this is not a regular episode. This is another one of our international specials. Now we've decided this week to come to the land of tiramisu, pasta and pizza. Obviously, we are in Italy. When people come to Italy, people have been to Rome, people have been to Venice, people have been to Milan. But we decided we'll take you to places that you may not have been to and are stunning and beautiful. Like this place. I'm right now in the playground of the rich and the famous. Now, this is one of the most beautiful places in Italy. It's called Lake Como. Now, this has attracted people right from Napoleon to George Clooney, who might even get married here in September. So this is a place where people have come, bought their villas. These are super expensive villas. Obviously, we're not going to buy a villa here, but I'm going to show you all those villas. There's lots to see in Lake Como, but before that, I've got to go check into my hotel and check out my suite.
Dubai to Milan is a 6-hour plane journey, and after my flight and then a 45-minute road trip from Milan Malpensa to Como, I finally checked into my hotel Albergo Terminus.
The terminus has a great history. First of all, is a building of the 1902. So we are in this building. You can see the ceiling. This is all original. It's a very historical building. And is a small hotel, part of a small chain owned by a private family, the Famiglia Passera, who owns this hotel and other two small hotels on Como.
I'd be staying here in a beautiful suite called the Bianca Suite. Now, the Bianca Suite was the ideal retreat for me. It was cozy, luxurious, and above all, it had an unparalleled view of the lake right from my balcony. I simply loved it.
So this is a great day in Lake Como. The sun is shining bright, there's nice cool wind blowing, and the temperature is about 16-17 degrees. This calls for a motorboat trip. And the tourism board of Lake Como has been very kind. They've sent me a motorboat, and I'm going to go and take a look at Bellagio and the other villas.
Lago di Como means the Lake of Como, and this definitely has to be one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. It boasts of an unprecedented variety of environmental features, a wealth of beautiful vistas, and the splendid wilderness of the hills. It certainly can take anyone's breath away.
Now, what you see behind me is called Villa d'Este. Now, this is probably the largest villas on Lake Como. And, this used to be the private house of a cardinal in the 15th and 16th century. After that, it passed many hands, and then finally it's been converted into a hotel. But this is not just any hotel. This is an ultra-luxury hotel. It's almost like a small village on Lake Como. And this is also ranked as one of the top 10 hotels in the world. The villa you see behind me is called the Gianni Versace Villa. Of course, it's not owned by him anymore. This is owned by Russian business tycoon Novikov. Now, a small part of his very big business is the Novikov chain of restaurants. The last time I went there was in London, and I loved the restaurant. I've got to say, I love his villa as well. Now, this is another very popular property here at Lake Como. This is a villa called Villa Oleandra, and it's called Villa Oleandra because of its oleander trees. But guess who this belongs to? This belongs to the very famous George Clooney. And is he inside or not? Well, the easiest way for finding that out is to take a look there. If George Clooney is here at Lake Como, there's always a motorboat parked outside here. He may not be here right now, but he may be coming here very, very soon. The rumor is that he is going to get married right here at this property.
Now what I'm looking forward to is my next stop. This is going to be the village that attracts the most number of tourists, Bellagio. At Bellagio, we decided to get down at one of the biggest hotels in the village. It's called the Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni.
The hotel was a private villa, and it was built 1850 by a Swiss family, and this was a present of the husband for the 25th anniversary of the wedding to his wife. My grandfather bought it 1918, just after the First World War, and since then it's belonging to my family, and we use it also as our personal home, private home. So it is an hotel and it is a family house, and we consider also our guests as part of the family and friends.
So in this wonderful hotel, I found myself a great place to sit, and I'm at their one Michelin star restaurant, Mistral. Now this is a fantastic restaurant here, probably the best in the hotel. It's got a great view, and what's even better is the food here. So today, what am I going to have for lunch? I decided I'm going to try something that's very, very Lake Como. And to make this for me, we have Chef Ettore. Now Chef Ettore is the executive chef of the hotel, and he's also the first chef in Italy to use molecular gastronomy. So he's the guy who introduced Italy to molecular gastronomy. So what we're going to do now is try this dish. But before that, we've got Ettore who's going to tell us what this dish is all about. Ettore, welcome to Weekend Out.
Thank you so much, Gaurav.
And thank you very much for taking in my request and making this lovely dish for me. But you've got to tell me a little bit about what we're going to have.
Today we decide to present a real typical dish. Is the rice with the fish from the lake. The quality of the fish is the lavarello.
Okay, now tell me something, Ettore. What's the texture and the flavor of the fish that you find in Lake Como?
This lake is one of the most deep of lake in Italy. And the fish, the texture are not thick, but is very strong. It's very different of all the other lake in Europe because it's very, very, very deep.
Okay, this sounds good. My mouth is already watering with this entire explanation about the fish from Como and this dish we're having. Then I think we should just start. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito, Gaurav.
Okay, let's try what you have for us. Sitting in a building that's more than 200 years old, eating food that probably was eaten way, way before that, sitting with a Michelin star chef and enjoying some great what is it?
Lavarello.
Lavarello. Life can't get better than this. I'm going to enjoy my lunch and then I will decide what I want to do next. Thank you very much, Ettore. I had a great time.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So the food definitely was the best way of getting a taste of the lake itself. Well, quite literally. Now it was time to actually enter the village of Bellagio and take a look around. And the best way to do that in Bellagio is to walk. I was thoroughly enjoying my walk through Bellagio and didn't want to leave. But there's a saying in Hindi, "Jayenge nahi, to wapas aayenge kaise?" On that note, I decided to step onto the motorboat and head on to something that I thought was very interesting.
Now we've stopped the boat in the middle of Lake Como, and that's because we're going to do something very adventurous. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk. Okay, now what is the risk? What you see behind me is a very small island. It's only 500 meters, that's it. And it's called Isola Comacina. Now, this is a sort of a cursed island. What happened was, many years back, there was a war between Como and Milano. Now, this war went on for 10 years and Como lost this war, Milan took over. And then 30 years after that, there was a German king who came in and, helped Como come back to power. At that time, the people of Como came here, surrounded this island by boats and destroyed everything that there was on this island. And this was because while the war was happening, the people of this island were on the side of Milan and not Como. So after all this happened, there was a bishop who sort of cursed this island and said that nobody will be able to build anything here or run any sort of business here, and if they try to do so, they will die a tragic death. Now obviously a few people did try, including the King of Belgium. They tried to build something here and they died a very, very tragic death. So since that time, nobody has ever lived on this island. But there was one person who was very keen on doing some business on this island itself. He's running a restaurant here. He found out a way of, going around this curse. He's been very successful all these years. So we're going to go onto the island, taking a risk of my own life and of course my team's life as well. And we're going to find out what is it that he does and nobody else could do to survive on this island.
So this small island of only 500 meters called Isla Comachina has been following this tradition and custom of offering fire through coffee for many years. And the only thing I could say after listening to the whole story was the coffee tasted nice. And with that nice tasting coffee, it was time to call it a day in Lake Como.
Okay, this is just the beginning. There's a lot more to discover in Lake Como, and we will do that as the episode goes forward. It's time right now for a short break. When we come back, अरे अभी तो हमने पिज्जा भी नहीं खाया है.